Well, my name's Kade Pittman. I was a Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman and a Special Operations Combat Medic. I was medically retired in 2019 after a military freefall accident. I mean, before the injury, I was like any other guy that wanted to, I played Division I sports. I, got good grades in college. I was on the dean's list a few times. So I made it through selection and made it through SOCM, which is a pretty tough course. So, I wasn't the smartest guy, but I could put it together when I needed to. And emotionally, I was pretty solid. I was pretty. I could keep it cool when I needed to. My wife felt like she married a pretty normal, cool, calm, and collected guy, or at least I'd like to think she'd say that. But man, after the accident, after I burned into that jump, everything was different.
Skydive San Diego is the recreational side. The military side is TAC Air Ops. He was a member of the Navy jump school that was injured here today. The jumper landed on target on the grass drop zone, but he came in wrong and was hurt. An ambulance called. Strapped onto a stretcher, he was rushed to Mercy Hospital. Wheeled into emergency for treatment. He's reported not in critical condition.
Well, after I burned in on that jump, I was in bad shape. I dealt with some of the military doctors, and honestly, they didn't know what to do with me because I was all over the place emotionally. I was in bad shape physically, and nobody had any answers. I was having panic attacks. I was deaf out of my right ear for a bit. Things were bad. I was slurring my words. I had a stutter. Yeah, it was a real deal. I knew I was in trouble, but just like you can't walk on a broken leg. It's pretty hard to think with a broken brain. And the military, I didn't have any brain bleeds, nothing like that. They just pretty much said it's going to take time, and they started throwing all the pharmaceuticals at me, and they didn't sit right. Sure enough, I started scouring the internet, and there's just nothing. And then I stumbled upon Andrew and Dr. Mark Gordon's podcast with Joe Rogan. Now, I'd never listened to a podcast before, quite frankly, but man, just from the seeing Andrew's picture on the little thumbnail and just seeing how he seemed like the real deal, and the way he so eloquently expressed himself and was open about talking about all his anxiety and panic attacks and depression, it totally legitimized everything I was going through. And I can't tell you how important that was in my healing, because quite frankly, my wife's a stunt woman. I was an active kid growing up in Nebraska, falling out of trees. I played college football, and I was struggling. So to hear someone like Andrew with his pedigree and his background, and knowing that he was the real deal, had these struggles, it made everything I was going through okay. And also seeing where he was now, I knew that I could get there, but I needed help. So I reached out to Warrior Angel Foundation at that point. So then, through the med board process and all that stuff, it was, pretty stressful. My healing was pretty slow, but once I got in with Dr. Gordon and Warrior Angel Foundation and started following their protocols, things really changed a lot. Obviously, I don't think I have a stutter. I don't know if I've stuttered on this, but I think I'm doing all right. I'm not slurring my words, which is cool. I'm working in TV and film. They throw me a few lines now and then. I get to do some like action-y type acting, stunt stuff, which is, it's not, it's definitely not, you're not in a war zone, but it kind of feels like it sometimes because there's a lot of pressure. And honestly, like, I am doing fine with it. I feel I have a rational amount of stress with all those situations, and get put in the hot seat, and I have the confidence that I know I can do that stuff now. Because before, I was losing my phone. I brushed my teeth with sunscreen a few times. Like, I was a hot mess. So to see where I was, 3-4 years ago, or after the impact to now, it's pretty cool. And even my wife once in a while will just say, like, it's absolutely incredible how far you've come, and Warrior Angel Foundation had a lot to do with that. I was going through a lot, and to know that other guys have been there and they were, willing to talk about it helped me, because then I felt like I could talk about it a little more, and that was pretty helpful as well, being able to actually verbalize and try to explain to other people what was going on in the dome was very beneficial. And then the fact that they subsidized the care through the Millennium Health Foundation was crucial, because it's a pricey treatment. And being an enlisted guy in the military, I don't have to tell y'all that we're not doing it for the money. And after my accident, I got put on limited duty, and I don't know how the Army does it, but I lost all my special duty pay, so that was a pretty good chunk of my paycheck. So I was concerned about that. I was feeling emasculated because of I couldn't work anymore. I was felt like I was a burden to everybody, and the fact that War Angels Foundation helped me out, kickstart that for me was a pretty big deal. I don't know if I'd have started otherwise. Whew, man, it's such a dynamic injury. There's so much going on there, and everybody's is different. I just can't say enough that you're just gonna have to be patient. And I hated hearing that when I was in it, but it's the truth. And hear it from me, hear it from Andrew, hear it from anybody, that this is going to take time, and I think guys in the soft community, we like to just muscle through things, because that's what got us where we were for the most part. But you can't do that with the brain injury. It doesn't work that way. So be patient. Don't be afraid to talk about it, man. It's the best thing. Just the fact, for me, knowing other guys are going through it and be able to share stories, and just kind of being able to laugh at some stuff that you do, not take it so seriously, was a big deal, because just being able to relate to other people is extremely healing, and that was a big part of my healing. And then just being open to different modalities. I started meditating, and I grew up in Nebraska, in western Nebraska, and meditation seemed like pretty woo-woo to me, but it's been a really really beneficial thing in my life, and not only with the healing process, but just in general, and something, if you'd talked to Kade in 2001 and said, like, hey, when 2021, 20 years, you're going to be meditating every morning, I'd have laughed in your face. But I tried a lot of other things that didn't help, but just these little deals that you got to be open to can help. So don't be stubborn, because I think that's probably a lot to ask for a lot of people in the community, but just keep an open mind. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's another thing that we're guilty of, is we're just figure things out on our own, and I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for the Warrior Angel Foundation, my wife, my family. I had a lot of help to get to where I was, to where I am now, and I kind of had to take a knee and ask for help, and that stings at first, but if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am today. So don't be afraid to do that. Honestly, if it wasn't for the Warrior Angel Foundation and Andrew going on social media and podcasts and talking about his symptoms and his story, I wouldn't be doing as good as I'm doing today. There's no doubt about it. Listening to Andrew speak about his experience and the way he navigated through his whole injury was so inspirational, and it showed me that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And the fact that they subsidized the treatment, which isn't cheap, made it possible for me to participate and to get that foundation that helped accelerate my healing. And I can't thank those guys enough. And I know my family, my wife, they're appreciative, because like I said, I was a handful, and I know that I've had another shot at life and enjoying it and experiencing it and maximizing what's left of it. And I don't think that would have been possible without those guys in the Warrior Angel Foundation.